All right, we are live back here on Fox Sports Radio, KLKC 1540 AM, and with me I have the host of his very own channel. He has his own channel on Sirius XM. I have it in my truck on right now, channel 83, the one and only legendary Chris Mad Dog Russo joining me on the ship. Chris, thank you for joining me this morning.
Darren, great to be here, pal. How you doing, okay?
I'm doing well. How's Radio Row been treating you so far?
Radio Row, again, 30 years of it. Radio Row, it's so much more expansive than it used to be. It used to be just a couple of stations. They've made it really into a cottage industry with the incredible ballroom activity, million stations. They separate here, there, and everywhere. It's really quite an experience if you don't know that much about the radio station business and you come and see this. It's incredible how many stations are covering the Super Bowl.
Now, a quick question. Now, you've been doing this for about 30 years. This is my first time here, so what advice would you give a first-timer like myself?
Well, I think you want to try to get in a loop with the guests because they rotate a lot of guests in, so you want to make sure you're in the loop so you get the 5 or 6 important guys who make the run, but all the radio stations. You're going to have a Dan Marino go from station to station, Jerry Rice station to station, all promoting something. So you want to make sure they have you on their get list.
Got you.
So from that standpoint, I think that's important. And I think you just, I think you don't want to get distracted because there's so much noise in this room that you want to focus on your own show. So I don't think you want to necessarily get distracted and just concentrate on what you're doing. But I think the biggest thing is to make sure that the PR firms who have the athletes, and this is a convention, this is really a conveyor belt of guests,
yep,
that you get on that list. Let's go do Kansas City. And so they know to come to you and get yourself organized. I think that's the most important thing.
Now, speaking about Kansas City, what are your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs this past year, and what do they need to do to make that next step next year? And this is as far as Alex Smith and Andy Reid can go together, the combo.
Well, I mean, it's the same old thing with the Chiefs. They can't score in big situations. I don't have any problem with the holding call on a 2-point conversion.
My man.
They have to make that call in that situation. I had Mike Pereira on yesterday. He said if you don't make that call, Pittsburgh is screaming, that call has to be made. They had a 7-3 lead in that game. They played decent enough defense, not allowing a touchdown. They had the bye. They won the division. I mean, I'm not too sure what to tell you. I mean, they just do not have. Part of it is the way the quarterback plays. They're not quick enough as far as the head coach is concerned with the play calling. They take too long. There's no sense of urgency, and they just don't have that big play wide receiver who is going to – I know the little kid ran punts back and made some nice plays happen, but they don't have that big play wide receiver who's going to create double teams. And until they get that, the team is always going to be a team that in the big game doesn't have a weapon that scares the opponent, and that's the problem.
Kansas City Royals, obviously 2 years ago they beat your New York Mets, and we're very much
hell of a series for them. Yep.
Now, question: what do they need to do to get back over the hump this year to make another run for it?
Well, I hate to see the tragedy with Ventura, so I mean that's going to really take something out of their pitching staff. You're not going to lose a guy like that, and not as bad as Fernandez with Miami, but that hurts them a lot. They have a great hardcore nucleus that loves to win. The Canes, the Hosmers, the Escobars, the third baseman Moustakas. So they are competitive, young. I think they were going to recover and have a pretty good year this year. But, their bullpen is not the dominant strength that it was a few years ago because they've lost Davis. They don't have Holland's not there, so they got issues with that scenario. And they don't have the great starting pitching. So, and Cleveland's good. So they're going to work hard to get the 90 wins. I would not put anything past them because they have a championship fiber. They may just not have quite enough to be a team that goes out there and wins a division.
Now, obviously, we're here in Houston, Texas for the Super Bowl. Give me your thoughts on how you see Sunday's game coming down to and who you got winning and why.
I can't see. I'm going to root hard for Atlanta because I'm sick of the Patriots.
No.
I'm sick of them. I think America is sick of them.
Oh, that's good. Well, you are from New York, so okay.
I'm sick of them. I can't take it. I mean, they've been to 7 Super Bowls. They killed the Jets. They killed teams in the division. Enough already. But I do think it's going to be hard for Atlanta to win. The key to beating New England in these games is a pass rush.
Exactly.
Giants had a pass rush to beat them twice. When Baltimore beat them in the postseason a couple of times, decent defensive front. The Jets had a good defensive front when they beat them in Foxborough in the playoffs. You need to have a good pass rush to make Brady, and only rush 4, not blitz, to make Brady unsettled. If you don't do that, he's going to pick you apart. They got a young secondary, and Atlanta doesn't have a great pass rush, so that's the issue. Last year, Denver had a great pass rush with Vaughn Miller. They only scored 18 points in the game. So you need to do that to get him unsettled. I'm not sure if Atlanta can do that. I think they'll score some. You have to score a lot to beat New England, too. You're not going to beat them 17-14 most of the time. So from that standpoint, get Brady unsettled, pass rush, and obviously play good offense. That is the way to beat them. I don't see it happening. I think Atlanta will play well, but I don't think they're going to win the game, to be honest with you.
I know you got a lot to do. I know you got the show on today. How can people get Mad Dog Russo?
Well, I mean, if you have Sirius XM, it's a great product. Yeah, I love the product. If you love radio, it's for the most part commercial free. So we're on Channel 82 there. I've been there for 8 years. So we're on Channel 82 on the Sirius XM profile. And it's a fun show. I mean, you do a lot of different things. You could do things on that show. I'll give you a perfect example. The first day, we did a lot of Houston. So you put Rudy Tomjanovich on, who obviously is from Houston. You know, you put Jeff Van Gundy on, coached in Houston. You know, you put writers on who've been here for 30, 40 years. You do A.J. Hinch, the Astros manager. So we're not bound to the local team. So you have to do Royals and Chiefs because that's what the Kansas City sports fan wants to hear. And New York, you got to do the Mets and the Giants and the Jets. You don't have to do that on Sirius, so it gives you a lot of flexibility as a host.
Now, they can also get it on the XM. They can also download it even if they don't have it in their vehicle. That's another way.
There's a lot of different ways you can find. Here's the bottom line. On apps, phones, computers, you can hear the show, you can hear the form of Sirius, or the channels, and they got 7 or 8 sports channels: football, basketball, hockey, some ESPN. So there's a lot of things you can get. I think it's $13 a month to get it on your car radio, which is not that expensive. And it's less on the phone. You can find us. If you get us, you will never leave. It's good talk radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Chris Mad Dog
Russo. Great to have you aboard, pal. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay,
This is Chris Mad Dog Russo joining Darren Smith